1, Josh Mabe here with NASCAR Minute. We got David Ragan, driver of the number 34 car for Front Row Motorsports. David, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you guys?
Doing great. First of all, how did you get your start in racing?
Well, my dad was a racer. He grew up around race cars, around racetracks. His dad, my grandfather, owned an automotive repair shop, so it was kind of in the family. As a kid, I grew up going to the races, watching my dad race, and then finally when I was 12, we purchased a Bandolero car and started racing around the Georgia area.
Alright, so when did you move over to the Cup Series?
Well, I was 18 years old. I just graduated from high school, and I went through Roush Racing's Driver X show. So myself, Eric Darnell, a couple of us, we got opportunities to run some Craftsman trucks, some of the Nationwide Series back in 2007, 2008, and then that's when I got my big break in, in the world of NASCAR.
So, is that when you replaced Mark Martin?
That's right. Yeah, Mark was going to retire a few years ago. He's still out doing a great job, showing everyone he's still got it at an older age. But yeah, that's when I replaced Mark in the 6 car.
So, when did you get or describe your rookie year?
Well, my rookie year was a lot of ups and downs. You know, I was going to a lot of the racetracks the first time. I was a rookie in the Sprint Cup Series along with the Nationwide Series. So back then it was the Busch Series, but we learned a lot, certainly made a lot of mistakes, had a few good runs, finished 5th in our first Daytona 500, so there were certainly some bright spots, but it was a learning year for sure. And
did you win Rookie of the Year in either series?
I won Rookie of the Year in the Busch Series. I finished 2nd to Montoya in the Sprint Cup Series and won it in the Nationwide Series back in 07.
So, 2009, is that when UPS came aboard?
Yep, UPS came aboard in 09, 10, and 11. We had a good run with those guys. Wish we could have won some more races. We were able to win the Coke Zero 400 and had a couple of poles, led some laps, had some fun, and they didn't renew their sponsorship, and ultimately, that's what led me to be with Front Row Motorsports where I'm at today.
I thought UPS is still with Roush.
They are. They are, I think, a one-race sponsor on the 99 car with Carl Edwards.
So, did you get fired from Roush, or did you just leave Roush?
Well, a little bit of both. We didn't have a sponsor for the number 6 car, and when you don't have funding to run, Jack ultimately decided to shut down the 6 team, and I was forced to go out and talk to some other teams and find another ride. Certainly, if we would have had funding, I felt like that we had a good program there at Roush, but when you don't have primary sponsorship, certainly in this day and age where it costs so much money to put to field a race car on the track, he couldn't justify doing it.
So, it's your team. Is it Front Row Motorsports or Front Row Motorsports with Yates?
It is Front Row Motorsports.
I thought it was Front Row Motorsports with Yates Racing.
Not to my knowledge, it could have been years ago, but I don't think it ever has. So I think you're mixed up on that.
Oh, that was probably just to help build engines.
That's right. We do get our engines from Roush Yates.
So, does the owner of Front Row Motorsports, does he also own the Taco Bell and all that stuff?
He does. He's a franchisee for Taco Bell's and Long John Silver's, so that's where we get some of our funding from.
So, what was the biggest difference between Roush and Front Row?
Well, really just, going from a 4-car team that Roush Fenway Racing has been in existence since 1987 or 88. So, they've got 20 years of experience where Front Row's got 3 or 4 years of experience in the Sprint Cup Series at a full-time basis. So, just the knowledge, the assets that a team acquires over the years is a lot different when you're comparing something that's been around for 20 plus years versus 3 or 4. So it's a building team for sure.
Okay, so how many cars does Front Row run each race?
Front Row has 3 cars. Myself and David Gillen are full-time. Josh Wiseman, number 26, is a part-time team. They attend every race. They race a few races throughout the year.
But they're in every race normally.
That's right. So three teams.
So who's your crew chief over there?
Jay Guy is my crew chief.
Wasn't he with the 78 for a while?
That's correct. Yep, he was out in Denver with the Furniture Road team for a few years.
So explain in your own words, how do you think this year went for you in the 34 car?
Well, we had an okay year. Certainly, we would have liked to have been a little bit higher in points. We were able to get a top 5, a couple of top 10s. We led a few laps, but we need to be more competitive. It was a building year. It was my first year with those guys. First year working with a different team. We worked hard to try to raise some money, some extra capital in the business to build some new race cars, hire some better employees. We've got a lot better team this year in 2013, and it's a building year. We're up against a lot of teams that have been around the Sprint Cup Series for a long time, and it's a building year. So it'd be great to get Front Row their first win.
All right, let's go back to 2011, the Daytona 500. Tell me really what happened that race.
Well, I had a different opinion. I saw interpreted a rule that NASCAR interpreted differently, and ultimately I just made a mistake. Something that I wish that I would have been better prepared to make a decision on that final restart, and ultimately I made a mistake, and they saw it. They understood that rule different than I did at the time, and it was just a bad race to make that kind of mistake.
So, growing up, who was your biggest hero in racing?
Bill Elliott was a big hero of mine. Dale Jarrett, I was always a big Dale Jarrett fan. They were both driving Ford and winning championships, so big Dale Jarrett and Bill Elliott fans.
So how did you feel when you finally got to race against them? I think you raced against them. I know you probably raced against Dale, but did you race against Bill?
Yeah, I got to race against Bill and Dale, so that was pretty cool to see them and get a chance to know those guys better, and then ultimately race against them. That was pretty cool.
And you also got Dale's former sponsor, UPS.
Yep, that was neat. We got to do some neat stuff with Dale and get to know his family and Ned and all, so that was a lot of fun.
So, how did it feel when you got your first win?
It was great. I mean, to win that first race was a lot of relief, a lot of stress taken off of you, but it feels so good. You have more motivation to drive harder, drive faster, and try to do a better job, and ultimately win more races. But it was definitely a lot of fun.
So, what do you think about the new 2013 car?
I think it's going to be fun. The car drives good. It looks good. I think the guys from NASCAR did a nice job designing the car. It's going to be a transition period for sure to get ready for Daytona. These first few races, anything new is going to be different to drive, different to work on. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick everyone picks up on the new car. But we're looking forward to it.
All right. So thanks for joining us. I want you to stay on the line for just a second, okay?
All right.
I'm going to sign off the show. Thanks to David Ragan for joining us, and I thank you for watching. Thanks for watching NASCAR Minute. Till we meet again.